Chio, welcome to Cherokee Now. Today we have Josh Adams joining the show. Josh is a highly regarded Cherokee artist that has showcased his art across the country. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who's your fan? Where'd you grow up at?
I'm from the Wolftown community, or the Big Y community, whichever one you prefer. My family, my grandpa was Joe Bradley, and my mom's Jody Bradley, or Jody Adams, if some of you may know her by that name. I been wood carving my entire life, basically. I came from a family of carvers. Probably started with my uncle, Red Bradley.
Right.
It's probably one of my oldest, my great carving probably goes back a couple generations in my family.
Okay. So, as an artist, where do you get your inspiration from? Who taught you? Was it some of the same individuals?
I probably started with my family. It was kind of always laying around. It was something that was easily or readily available for me to pick up.
Right.
My inspiration comes from a number of different things. I like to draw a lot of our culture, a lot of our legends, legends that I've heard growing up, legends that I'm sure you heard growing up, and some of our more traditional aspects of our culture is what inspires me the most.
Okay. What are your different formats? What all different medias do you work in?
Mainly, my mainstay is probably wood carving.
Okay.
I do some acrylic work. I do some pottery. I do some weaponry. I do, some film stuff. We've done some film stuff together. Just a little bit of everything. I try to not limit myself to one medium. When
your inspirations are happening through dreams, through stories, does that lead you to the medium that you put it on?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on what the vision is. Like I'll the majority of the time I'll have a piece that'll come to my mind, and it won't leave until I kind of get it done. Like for instance, like when I start a mask, if I have a mask that I've just kind of been itching to do, or the one that's stuck in my head, that will stay there until I kind of cycle through it. And a lot of it comes from dreams, from books. I'll read a certain legend. I'll hear a certain story. Whatever's stuck in there is on the table. That's what I try to produce, whether it's a painting, a piece of pottery, a carving, a mask.
Do you ever find yourself in multiple places at one time, where you're working on a painting maybe, and then you move over to a mask for a little bit? Or
Absolutely. I try to have as many pieces started, kind of in progress, as I can. I feel like when I get it helps with my hands too. So like because wood carving is pretty super hard on your hands.
Right.
So when I'm carving, if I feel like I need a break, or I feel if I need to take a break from that, I'll go to painting, or I'll go to pottery, something a little bit easier on my hands.
Okay.
And vice versa. When I get tired of painting, I'll go back to carving. It's something to fill the time, and it's something that just helps me kind of keep the production line going, basically.
Okay, good. Now you've been expanding your craft, and you've been expanding your brand and the things that you do. Mm-hmm. Where are some places that people might see some of your work?
The Asheville here, most recently, the Asheville Art Museum acquired a piece. There's some pieces. A lot of my stuff is out west. I do the Santa Fe Indian Market. Okay. I also do the Cherokee Days Market in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. Or not Cherokee Days, Cherokee Art Market in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've shown in numerous shows, across the country, and even some in Africa and across the globe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So you mentioned Cherokee Days in D.C. You're getting ready to go to D.C. and participate in that.
Look forward to it.
That's exciting. And some of your work has messages to it, some subliminal messages, or some are straight in your face. Yeah. What leads you to that kind of an idea?
I was reading this biography of Picasso, and he was talking about art really is, without meaning, art's just subjectional. Like you can look at a piece of artwork, and unless that some artwork has meaning driven into it, right, and others it's up to the viewer.
Left for interpretation.
Left for interpretation. When I have a certain message or a certain idea that I'm trying to hit home, I try to get everything to kind of line up in that.
So you're not leaving it to the imagination.
Some I do.
In some forms.
Yeah, in some forms I do, some forms I don't. Okay. I try to walk that. It's a fine line to walk.
It is.
You can't be too abrupt with some things.
What are some of the responses you've had to some of the ways you've maybe stretched traditional art?
There are positive and negative responses, depending on who you are and your, I guess your
What's some of the struggles with some of the, I guess, the criticisms, and how do you respond to that? And how would you respond to that? How would you recommend any artist respond to the criticism part of it?
I just ignore it. Like I kind of know how much work and how much effort I've put into each piece, as far as carving or a painting or something like that. And you're always going to have those critics, and especially in the art world. There's always going to be critics, and there's more critics than there are praises. Basically, you just get used to it. You get used to it, and I seriously just ignore it. Like I don't think about it, and until I've moved on. And sometimes you'll get those people that'll come up to you and they'll say an off-color remark, or especially with being light-skinned and Cherokee at the same time. Like, it's an uphill battle.
Absolutely,
it's an uphill battle. But at the same time, like, that's not going to say. I mean, saving the culture is more important than that.
Right.
That
the value, the true value that we're working with, or the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And it's got little to do with your skin color, little to do with the art, the piece of wood that's in front of them.
Yeah.
It's about a message and a culture.
As long as you're promoting Cherokee culture and keeping that from going extinct, I have zero qualms with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is it important for our members to learn more about the Cherokee culture through art?
We just said it. It's going extinct. Like Cherokee people are the only people that can save Cherokee culture, in my opinion. Whether it's our language, whether it's any of our art forms, our tradition, our dances, all that stuff. It's slowly dying with every generation, and I think it's up to us to stop that. To
have a responsibility to participate in that, in whatever the facet that is.
Whether that's passing it down to students or just telling your grandchildren about
turning somebody onto here's a class that's happening.
Yeah.
What is the best way to learn some of these crafts?
Hands-on. You just got to get the tools in your hand. And one of my favorite quotes is a Steve Martin quote, and I have it written on my board. He's talking about playing guitar, and he says, if you can't see it, you can't play it. So if it's not out and you can't do it, and I take that and kind of apply that to chiseling or painting. I always try to have you've seen my setups. I try to apply that. I'll have my chisels laying out. I'll have my paintbrushes laying out. Just have it ready to go for when that moment hits.
You're ready to rock and roll. The inspiration comes and goes. Sometimes it's fleeting.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to miss that opportunity to grab it.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands-on. What are your plans moving forward? What's next for you?
I'm just going to kind of I just hope to keep building my career. With every piece, we kind of take a small step forward in becoming a more professional artist.
Okay.
Whether I'd like to venture back into film, I'd like to venture back into all aspects, every art form.
But you're going to stay busy. Your plans are to continue to stay busy.
I've got some pottery coming. I've got some big carvings coming.
How can folks see your work? Like, do you have a website or?
www.joshuaadamsart.com. Check it out. Drop me a line.
Okay.
Check out the store. Check out the gallery. That kind of stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of information on there.
And currently, what all do you have currently underway? I know you've got a couple of pieces you're working on.
I just finished up a giant, panther,
awesome.
And I also just finished up a giant booger mask, like a beehive booger mask, and I think those are my two showpieces for Washington, D.C.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Now, you mentioned to me, I just want to put this out there because I think it's really interesting and exciting for the community. Alice Cooper's coming to play in Cherokee this weekend.
Oh, yeah, big fan of Alice Cooper.
Tell me about your Alice Cooper story.
Well, the last time he was in town, I actually, I'm a huge fan, been a huge fan for a long time, and I actually got the honor to, I made him a mask, and I didn't know whether he, you never know with these things.
Right.
And I didn't want to impose on him or anything, so I actually gave it to a good friend of mine who got it to Alice, and he actually took a picture with it and put it on his Instagram and kind of shared it with the world. It was it's not like it's perfect is what it is. It's perfect. It's like you get to see my mask and Alice in the same shot, and
that's awesome.
And I was stunned.
So it hangs in his home now.
Hopefully. I mean, I've no guarantees on that, but I'd like to think
got it with him.
He's got it. He's definitely had it.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah,
well, thanks for coming on, Josh. I appreciate your story, and I really do wish you the best of luck as a Cherokee artist, and thank you for sharing our culture with the world.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
That'll be it for today. If you're listening at home and would like to comment on the show or ask questions regarding what we've discussed today, please comment on our ebci.com Cherokee Now Facebook page at facebook.com/Cherokee Now. Data Dog,